Good morning. December the 27th, 2024. We're going to be in Proverbs 27. That coincides with the date of the month. Proverbs 27, the very first verse has a note. We'll read the verse, then we'll read the note. Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring forth. The note on that says, what separates the fools from the wise is that the wise know not to boast about tomorrow, since only the Lord knows what a day may bring. Very true. We do not know what our day holds. Verse 2, let another man praise you and not your own mouth, a stranger and not your own lips. A stone is heavy and sand is weighty, but a fool's wrath is heavier than both of them. Wrath is cruel and anger a torrent, but who is able to stand before jealousy? Open rebuke is better than love carefully concealed. Verse 6, faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. Note on verse 6 says, Trust is the foundation of all successful relationships. At times, a friend may wound with corrective criticism. The short-term pain is for long-term good. Flattery from an enemy, however, may feel good, but will end badly. Good friends are very good for you. Verse 7, a satisfied soul lulls the honeycomb, but to a hungry soul every bitter thing is sweet. Like a bird that wanders from its nest is a man who wanders from his place. Ointment and perfume delight the heart, and the sweetness of a man's friend gives delight by hearty counsel. Verse 10. Verse 10. Do not forsake your own friend or your father's friend, nor go to your brother's house in the day of your calamity. Better is a neighbor nearby than a brother far away. Now let's look at that verse 10's note. It says this proverb is not meant to criticize family ties. Normally a brother, a relative, who would be helpful in a time of adversity, but if that relative lives a great distance away, a neighbor can stand in a family member's stead. Very true. Verse 11. My son, be wise and make my heart glad, that I may answer him who reproaches me. Verse 11 also has a note that says, the son is urged to seek wisdom because of the benefit that will accrue to his parents. Having a child who is wise is evident of good child rearing and means that a father can answer his critics. Good stuff. Let's go. Verse 12 also has a note. Read the verse and then the note. Verse 12, a prudent man foresees evil and hides himself. The simple pass on and are punished. And we'll look at verse 12. It says the proverb is almost identical to 22:3, which is Proverb 22:3. The wise see trouble coming and do everything possible to avoid it, while the foolish proceed headlong into danger. Verse 13. Take the garment of him who is surety for a stranger, and hold it in pledge when he is surety for a seductress. He who blesses his friend with a loud voice rises early in the morning. It will be counted a curse to him. Verse 15 and 16 have a note together. A continual dripping on a very rainy day and a contentious woman are alike. Whoever restrains her restrains the wind and grasps oil with his right hand. The note there says, this word picture illustrate a trait that can erode a marriage and is almost impossible to stop. Contentiousness in a woman is particularly dangerous because it undermines both her and her husband. Verse 17 is where we're at, and it also has a note. It says, as iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. And the note there says, as iron sharpens iron is one of the best known similes in Proverbs. The proverb addresses the mutual benefit that comes to the individual who receives and gives correction in community. Iron against iron improves the quality of both. Wisdom is neither acquired nor maintained in isolation. That is good stuff. I believe we're on verse 18. Is that right? No. Yes, verse 18. Whoever keeps the fig tree will eat its fruit, so he who waits on his master will be honored. Verse 19. As in winter, face reflects face, so a man's, let me read that again. As in water, face reflects face, so a man's heart reveals the man. And then the note there on verse 19 says, the face that is reflected in a placid pool of water says very little about a person. A glimpse into the heart, discerning what a person loves and values, reveals his or her true character. Yes, that's true. You can't tell anything about looking at a person just by the glance. You can't read a person like that. You have to get to know them. Verse 20, hell and destruction are never full, so the eyes of man are never satisfied. The refining pot is for silver, and the furnace for gold, and a man is valued by what others say of him. Though you gird a fool in a mortar with a pestle, grind. Though you grind a fool in a mortar and pestle along with crushed grain, yet his foolishness will not depart from him. Be diligent to know the state of your flocks, and attend to your herds. For riches are not forever, nor does a crown endure to all generations. When the hay is removed, and the tender grass shows itself, and the herbs of the mountains are gathered in, the lambs will provide you clothing, and the goats the price of a field. You shall have enough goat's milk for your food, for the food of your household, and the nourishment of your maidservants. That wraps up chapter 27. Let's jump over to Ephesians in chapter 6 of Ephesians, starting in verse 10 through verse 20. Let's put our armor on, y'all. It says, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in heavenly places. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand, stand therefore, having girded your waist with truth, having put on the breastplate of righteousness, and having shod your feet with preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, with which you will be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked one. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying always in all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, being watchful to this end with all perseverance and supplication for all the saints, and for me, that utterance may be given to me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in chains, that in it I may speak boldly as I ought to speak. Thank y'all for clicking on this video. It seems strange to be pre-recording this many, but we will be back again live January the 2nd. Until then, God bless y'all. I challenge you to go be a blessing for someone else today. And we'll see you again tomorrow, even though it's pre-recorded. See y'all then. Bye now.